And there we go with the theme music, and we're seeing out the weekend. Sunday night here in Melbourne town, and just gonna chill for a couple of hours and see what happens. What's this? No, I was just checking something on the charge on my laptop because I was worried about something. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. So yes, we've got to roll into Monday. And I know it's not the same for everyone. Not everyone has weekends off and then goes back to, work or school or uni on Monday. It's different for everyone. But for me, I am the Monday to Friday work. So, yep, just chilling out before going to Sleepy Bobos and starting the day work. So again, it's not the same though, because I'm still working from home. I do that in case you're unfamiliar with it, because my workstation for working from home is just behind me. I do everything on different computers. I do these live streams on a laptop. I have another computer that's my workhorse computer for video editing and whatnot. And there's a laptop over there for work. And who's here? Hello, Celtic King, Locust Trooper, Bernie, Starlight on Twitch. Hello. So yes, chilling out on a Sunday evening. Starting off with a non-alcoholic beverage because it's the school day tomorrow, as the saying goes, and I don't really want to get shit-faced tonight. I'll probably have a drink. And Fox of Fate, hello. What I might do, I haven't had a proper taste of this. One of my milk clarifications. It might even just look completely clear to you. It's almost completely clear. It's got a very, very light green tinge in it, and that's from Crème de Menthe. That is a clarified tequila mockingbird. That's a cocktail with tequila and a little bit of creme de menthe in it. Silicant on Twitch as well. Hello. This beverage, if that's the one you're asking about, Celtic King, this is just a lemonade and fruit juice. Bernie, you're also video editing. I hate the industry. I do it for fun. It's not my job. Ooh, Gentleman Jack with pear cider. Wowzers, that actually sounds really interesting. Silicant, you like the new glasses? Nice. I've had them for a couple of weeks now. Your first time seeing them? Glad you like them. Start saying my face is already shit in relation to me saying being shit-faced. Megalich, hello. So Locust Trooper, you're talking to a guy, the TED Talk, and I'm wondering if I'd recommend you because you're good at talking, explaining things better than me. I don't know. I'm not really in the mood to do a TED Talk. I have to be completely honest. Okay, Silicon, a good drink to make. I want to make different types of mixed drinks. The first question is, are there particular alcoholic beverages you like? Are there particular ones you don't like and don't want to drink? And what flavors generally do you like? A little bit of, give me some parameters like that, like stuff you want to drink, stuff you don't want to drink, type of flavors you like. And I'm happy. I love actually talking about what can we make. Infinity mashed button now. Okay. I think auto completes fighting with you there, Bernie. I'm not sure. Okay, Troopers, I just don't particularly want to do a public thing at the moment. Okay, so you like clear vodka and sweeter flavors. My first advice would be start to experiment with something a bit more interesting than vodka. Uh, but I get what you're saying about wanting vodka and sweeter flavors. I mean, even like do it gradually. If you get like a white rum, most of the white rums just have a very mild flavor, and you mix them with fruit juices. You know, the classic is a daiquiri is a really simple drink. It's just like white rum, lime juice, and sugar syrup. And a daiquiri is a fucking awesome drink, actually. Uh, but yeah, I mean, what are the you know again? If you like, I'm assuming. Okay, so you probably have vodka. If you don't go out and buy any. Get something else. But you have vodka. Uh, fruit flavors. Fruit flavors go quite well. Starlight, thanks for dropping in. Nice to see you. Lecture, what advice would I give you to get on stage and TED Talk? Well, you've got to break the ice. So, I don't know if you've ever heard the very bad advice of don't be daunted by the audience. You can imagine they're all nude. What you should do, you should walk out nude. And when they're all freaked out, and they went, sorry, I'm nervous. And I got told to imagine you all nude, but at the last second, I got confused backstage. Here I am. Don't do that. Bernie made a cocktail series once. Learned to always give the mixologist a brief on your favorite flavors. Yeah, that's literally all you have to do. Flavors. And that's what I'm saying. If I know there's particular things you like to drink, particular things you don't like to drink, and what flavors you like. Because you can do very boozy drinks like a martini. See, okay, if you have vodka, like one of the most popular vodka drinks in the world at the moment is the porn star martini, which is not a martini. It's usually made with vodka and passion fruit. So this is the thing. If you like sweet flavors, almost anything fruity will go with it. And honestly, if you were just having vodka, I'd recommend getting a mixer like a soda, and go so vodka and a fruit liqueur if you have one. But if you don't, even just like a fruit cordial, fruit pulp, like actually get some fresh juice, like squeeze, any fruit you like, basically, and soda water, like vodka, soda, and a fruity flavor would be a nice drink. Bernie, the Gin Palace. They're pretty bloody professional and experienced at the Gin Palace. If you go there and say, I like this kind of flavor, they'll get you something good. The Croft Institute does still exist, and I'm always taking pictures of the graffiti street art in Croft Alley. I've never been to the Croft Institute. It's this bar in a back lane in Melbourne. It's actually, you've got to go lane, dog leg down this lane, right down the end is the Croft Institute. As I understand it, the decor is a joke, like it's a scientific institute. The bar staff maybe wear white coats and give you drinks in test tubes and beakers and that type of thing. Oh, nice. Stella, listening while cooking enough to survive the apocalypse. Well, you got to be prepared, really. Got to be prepared. Locust Trooper, I reckon it's keen that you're exploring this, doing a talk thing, rather than ask me, who is full of opinions but no actual experience. I bet that on YouTube, there's probably some really good videos on advice on how to give talks. Public speaking, just that would actually be my number one recommendation. Go to YouTube and look up videos on public speaking and giving speeches. I bet there's some good stuff there. Abigail, you learned why McDonald's. I saw that. I didn't watch the video. You must have watched a video that I saw at why McDonald's ice cream machines are always broken. You're saying it's nothing to do with cleaning cycles and everything to do with capitalism. Go on. I'm intrigued. And hello, musical aviator. You did a flight sim massive online event with 2,000 other people all night from 8 p.m. till you went to bed at 7 a.m. Holy cow, what a night. Oh, wow. That sounds really full on. 2,000 people all joining an online flight sim event. Nice. Right, I got a teeny bit of this lemonade left. I'm just going to pour it into my glass. Teeny bit. So, right. Make some more lemonade another time. I showed you this, I made up honey syrup. I'm sure I was making drinks on the stream with this because some of it's gone. So I must have been talking about that on stream. First time I've made honey syrup. So it should be books nearly finished. Australia, the failed state. It does sound like a good read. Get the cat amongst the pigeons. So I'm expecting. Now I'm just talking about booze again. We're 10 minutes in and I've barely talked about booze, except, all the times I talked about booze, which is, I think it's been 50% of the conversation so far. I'm expecting 2 deliveries this week that I'm really looking forward to. One is it's called a rum agricole, farmer's rum. And the other one is the latest single malt release from Archie Rose. When I get the rum agricole, it's an overproof white rum. I'm going to do some taste comparisons, probably with my other white rums, maybe with some of the dark ones, I don't know. And when I get the whiskey, I'm going to do some whiskey comparisons, because that's a world award-winning Australian whiskey. So I've got a couple of high-end Australian whiskies. I'm going to taste them side by side, see which one I prefer. Locust Trooper, Australia, the failed state. Awesome name. Okay, stick with it. So Bernie, the Croft Institute has a grass bar still out the back in a room called the Department of Alcoholology. Vodka comes in medicinal 5-litre jars. Hard to get back on the plane to Sydney. Nice. I've seriously been meaning to go to the Croft Institute for about 10 years and just never have. I don't go out in the city that often. I'll have to do it at some point. Check out the Croft Institute. But there are so many good bars in Melbourne. There are so many of them. And, you can't go to, well, you could go to all of them. You could, if you just really wanted to go out to bars a lot. And sad to say, I'm a little bit old for that, for just a regular habitual bar hopping. Just going to have to admit that I'm a little bit old for that. So I go out to bars sometimes. And yes, Locust Trooper, yes, I heard of the Perth lockdown. Man, that bloody West Australian Premier has a fucking hair trigger. The slightest sign of trouble, like, bam, lockdown. I'm not convinced it was necessary. But he's got no opposition. Who the fuck's going to stop him? They're just like, he can do whatever he wants and no one can stop him. And it does seem with the West Australian public, his strict lockdown rules have been popular. The border closures and whatnot that have riled up the federal government and various other fuckwits seem to have been very popular with the people of Western Australia, because it kept them largely COVID-free. And So it's all well and good from the outside to say that's a dumb idea, but, it's working for him. It's absolutely working for him. So it's a little bit hard to say to him, hey, don't do that, because doing it has paid off for him. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Chris, Jesus Christ. The Muppet in Chief has fucked the vaccine rollout so badly, so fucking badly. And we desperately need it to accelerate just by orders of magnitude, so we don't have to panic when the virus gets out of hotel quarantine, because that's going to keep happening. So Bernie's bar in Melbourne, interviewing the owner, beautiful young woman, high necky, big baby seal eyes. Owner has infrared cameras in toilet streamed to his home. Oh my God, call it sus. Jesus. See, you can't fucking trust people who run clubs. Honestly, Jesus. Ooh. Yeah, shifty bosses, man. Bosses in hospitality. Shifty as fuck. But yeah, you can't trust people, man. Locust Trooper, I'm in no rush to upgrade my internet. It works at the moment. I mean, who knows? I mean, if we get any sort of decent 5G coverage in Melbourne, the next phone I get will probably be 5G capable. Maybe I'll do live streams from out and about on my phone. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Anything's possible. But yeah, my home internet functions as I need it to. So it's probably theoretically possible for me to get faster internet, but I don't really need it. Yeah, it's. I mean, I rarely have problems, and there are times that while I'm doing a stream, my two offspring playing online games at the same time, and Mrs. Angry's lad being online, not necessarily gaming, but being online as well. And it very rarely causes a problem. So, it's okay at the moment. So, yeah, it's, who knows what the future will bring, what amazing applications to interwebs that will make even faster internet a necessity. I'm very open-minded about that. Anyone who thinks like, oh, you never need to upgrade a computer beyond this, or you never need to upgrade an internet speed beyond that, that's just a singular lack of imagination. Because anyone who's ever said that in the past has become like the butt of jokes in the future. It's just like, oh, can you believe that fuckwit said no one would ever do this and no one would need that, and look at us now. But yeah. Bernie, I've never tried DaVinci. It's called Resolve, isn't it? Editing software. I don't use Premiere Pro or anything. I use a relatively cheap editing software from Corel Video Studio. In fact, I was using it before Corel bought it. Corel bought it about 10 years ago, I think. So yeah, it's just, it was literally when I started YouTube. That was back in the days when you got a PC from a shop. There would be trial versions of applications installed on it, and there was a trial version of Video Studio on the computer, and I decided I'm going on YouTube. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this editing software that's on the computer. And it was really easy to use. And I probably used like 10% of its features because I can't be bothered learning the complicated stuff. But all the essential editing stuff I learned without having to read instructions, because the software is quite intuitive. So yeah, there you go. So Chris, American broadcasters said HD is all going to have work their damn to just keep 4K off the air, keeps live production costs down. Oh well. Well, you know, people just keep getting bigger and bigger TVs with more and more definition in them. So yeah, and I'd say broadcasters saying they'll never broadcast in 4K is the same as people saying, you know, no one needs a computer in their home. You don't need fast internet. Why do you need? Yeah, they're going to look stupid in the future because people are going to have fucking wall-sized TVs and want the ultra HD shit going on. But yeah, I don't actually blame broadcasters for trying to avoid the more expensive broadcast style for as long as possible, because, as you pointed out, it's going to cost them a pretty penny. So they want to avoid that. I just thought of something to really show off my drink. I think I'll do it with clear ice. To get my clear ice out, I need to temper it so it doesn't crack when I put the cocktail in. So Chris, the other point, unless you sit close to TV, you're never going to know the difference between 4K and 1080, especially if it's downsized to HD. Yeah, there is the question of how much difference the human eye can actually tell as a big thing. But I don't know, like literally, that wasn't just the figure of speech when I said people are going to have wall-sized TVs. I mean, that's the fucking future, an entire wall being a fucking screen. That technology lives in the labs now. Like Stripper, 1 gigabyte changes your life. Download 100 gigabyte files in 60 seconds. Yeah, but that's just not a thing I do. In the abstract, that sounds great. Like, yeah, fast downloads are great. That isn't a thing I do. I don't download 100 gigabyte files. I just don't. It's not a thing I do. So yeah. Bernie Resolve, Kirill bought that software, pretty much dumped it. Went and made LumaVision on OS, teach 9-year-olds. After 1 hour, they're editing like demons. Nice. Yeah, I've heard good things about DaVinci, actually. Music Aviator is a flight simulator nerd who'd very much like to fly anywhere on Earth with better than Google Earth resolution, huge multiplayer environments. You can marry some upgrades I'd like. Yeah, see, that's you have a use for very high speed internet and very big, very high definition screens. That's a real thing. So Abigail, friend has a giant 4K OLED TV. Looks like a doorway into another world. Images are so fucking realistic, it's scary. Yeah. Some of them are very trippy. So big. So saying they have 100-inch TVs in your local Retrovision. Literally, you don't have a wall large enough to put that in front of. Yeah. So Bernie's saying 4K is great for production reframing, watching 2K in the cinema. That's a good point. Okay, that's Flight Sim Nerd Talk, Abigail. Get some Verpil controls for the Flight Sim. Doing it right. Yeah, Bernie, how about there are cameras, I don't know if they're at consumer stage yet, but they act, and I think at the moment they're still cameras, not video cameras. But when you take a picture, it records so much information in post. You can enlarge, this much of the screen into that much, and it's still in high def. And you can adjust literally everything. You can adjust the depth of field. You can bring different parts of it in focus and put other bits out of focus. And change the lighting and all that shit. And I don't mean with Photoshop. I mean, it's like all the information is there. You have the options of infinite depth of field, so everything is in razor sharp focus, or you can highlight things and then change the focal length and the depth of field and shit. The idea of that with video, something that records such detailed video information that in post you can reframe it and do all this wacky stuff. I mean, that's some science fiction level shit. Bernie just edited a 20-minute show on DaVinci. Still beginning tomorrow if you used. PP. Yes. Aussies are caning it. Nice. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Yeah, I should learn some proper editing and special effects, because like I said, my software, I use maybe 10% of its features, and I could do all this wild and wacky shit. I started trying to do some stuff with keyframing and whatnot, and you know, it's like studying. It's like school. I would actually have to really sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I get bored, and I'm just, I don't wanna. It's just like being at school. I don't want to do it, and I go back to I go back to just my simple editing. Locust Trooper, iPhones don't have the tech to the degree I'm talking about. I know with the multiple lenses, they do a lot. I'm talking about very hard to believe levels of information in a single digital photo. So yeah, but the iPhones do have that basic functionality. Oh, wow. So Resolve is actually really fast at rendering. Well, I like the sound of that, because that's the bane of my life, rendering. So it graded 8K in RAW, a 3-minute video took 9 hours in the other one, and 14 minutes in Resolve. Geez, I should look into that seriously. Yeah. All right, Musical Aviator and Abigail nerding out about sim controls. Nice. Yes, Bernie, I know conceptually keyframing is easy, because I watched one of their tutorial videos and I went, all right, and I started doing it. I was going to do that, and then the fucking software did something I didn't understand, and I just went, fuck it, and stopped, which is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Like, I even all I wanted to do on one with keyframing was me to be in sharp focus, like to put a mask around me, basically, me to be in sharp focus, and everything behind me to be really blurred. And I couldn't work out how to get it to follow me when I moved, and I gave up because I'm lazy. Celtic King, have I thought about getting an 8K video camera? I can't justify it. There's no reason for it. I've got a 4K video camera. I guess the one thing I'd really like in a video camera is a really high def slow motion feature, like where you could like pull things into really super slow-mo and have it be really crisp. And that's, you know, so you need something with the right frame rate and video capture. And I think my camera has a setting where it could do it better. And I just have trouble working out how to get the camera and my editing software to play nice, because my camera, I can change the frame rate from 24 frames a second to hundreds of frames a second, and then theoretically, then I could put that into my editing software and slow it right down, and it would look smooth. Because if you slowed it, because I can slow down video, but if you slow down 24 frames a second, it gets quite choppy because you start to lose the illusion of animation because the frame rate's too slow. So I need to solve that. Justin, hello. Fox. Yeah, I know. There are a bunch of cameras on the market. Oh, the dedicated slow-mo ones, the ones that cost $100,000? Be like the slow-mo guys on YouTube, that they bought somehow got a hold of a camera that's so high-end, they actually get roped in to shoot on Hollywood movies because the cameras are so fucking expensive to buy. But if you hire someone who has one to do the high speed shit, it's easier. Locust Trooper, I'm not 100% sure what's happened with AZ. I haven't heard from him for a while. Celtic King, thanks for dropping in, man. See you later. Yes, Abigail, those Phantom high-speed cameras, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ooh, Bernie, make some tutorials. Everyone gets into teach. That sounds like a friggin' winner, man. Tutorial videos on YouTube are hugely popular. People love learning via video. Yes, if you're a good teacher and you want some exposure, yeah, I'd recommend do a video tutorial. People love them. But I think even just consumer video cameras now, because my current one I had for years, because I keep gear for ages. And in fact, I've still got my older video camera, which I probably bought about 10 years ago. I don't remember how long. I don't even remember how long ago I bought the previous one. It still works. I almost never use it. But I could. It's pretty good. It's not as good as the one that replaced it. Like, it's not 4K. It shoots in HD, but not 4K. I could definitely use it as a second camera, but I just don't do things where I need a second camera. So Bernie, DaVinci does that BG blur and tracking with a button push. Don't go 8K. You don't need self-flagellation that much. Stick to whips and gags. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Locust Trooper, you met him in a train. Didn't say hello, but he's in South Yarra line. He's pretty short. He's the same height as me, man. Short ass like me, 5'8". And we're almost exactly the same height, actually. Yes. Oh yeah, Bernie. I don't want 8K. There's no need. But like I said, the one feature I'd like is real good slow-mo. That would be awesome if I could have like 4K slow-mo and be able to slow it right down, like, by 90% or whatever. Nice. DaVinci and FPX have AI interpolation for smooth slow-mo. See, my software probably does too, and I'm too stupid to know how to do it. Abigail, since when is 5'8" short? Since this current generation are shooting up like bean poles. I got a bloody 6 foot tall son. Lucky he's good, because wouldn't want to be in conflict with a bloody 6 foot 20-year-old. 5'8" for my generation is average to maybe slightly below average, but for current generations, that 5'10" is average, and 6 foot plus is common. Yeah. 5'8" is not short. It just depends what you're comparing it to. I swear to God, I still remember way back, because this must be like bordering on 10 years ago, where young Mr. Angry was still in primary school. It's probably year 5 or 6. So they're just like pre-teens. And I was helping on like a school excursion, being one of the supervisors. And there was a fucking kid in this class, like a grade 5 or 6 kid, who was taller than me. And I was like, what the hell? And yeah, my lad says, oh yeah, no, like his dad's like 6'8", and his adult brothers are both, 6'8". He's like from a family of monsters, basically, huge, big, lumbering monsters. You see, Bernie, it sounds like, yeah, your students love you. People get it when you teach. I get the trepidation of putting yourself out there on interwebs, but man, if you're motivated to do it, do it because it would prove popular. People love video tutorials. So that's how I learned to make milk clarified cocktails, because there was a bunch of videos on YouTube showing how to do it. And I thought, that looks so cool. I'm going to try that. And I tried it, and it is cool. No, Locust Tripper, you are not short today. You at 5'11", you are above average. I think 5'10" might be about average for younger generations. So you're definitely not short. And Justin, broadly, improvements in nutrition can lead to taller people, but it's also the type of nutrition. And while there's lots of things about them that aren't healthy, an increased intake in red meat and dairy can make for taller offspring. Abigail, you're 5'7" short. Not to me, you're not. Just like some people are really into height. Should we get the incels complaining that they reckon women aren't interested in anyone who's less than 6 feet tall, which is obviously not true. But there are definitely some women on dating sites who say things about, not being interested in guys unless they're over 6 foot. And it's like, okay, particularly when they're quite short. Oh yeah, well, Abigail, women are allowed to be short. Let's get real. A huge chunk of the male population is made insecure by women who are taller than them. So yeah. Bernie saying high heels were originally made for men. Oh yeah, in previous generations, like 17th, 18th, probably even into the 19th century, not stiletto high heels, but high-heeled shoes were very common among men. And Special K makes you really short. I'm not sure if that's a joke I'm not getting. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, Justin, that's a good observation that North Koreans are on average shorter than South Koreans for the obvious reasons. Yes, the chronic malnutrition that people in the north of Korea suffer. Yeah. So Stella, you're 165 centimeters. 5'8's perfect height for me. Don't have to stretch up too far to kiss. Okay. Bernie, not a joke, tried it once. I still don't get, what do you mean about Special K making you short? Are you talking about the cereal or the euphemism for ketamine? I don't know. But see, Stella's the thing. I've literally seen dating profiles of a woman who's 5'4" that says she's only interested in like 6 foot and above men. And it's like, what? That doesn't make sense. That's weird. Why would you? Okay, you are saying ketamine. Yeah, okay. See, that's why I wasn't sure what I was missing. Abigail started in the 14th century with Persian cavalry who invented high heels to grip stirrups. That's a good practical thing. European aristocracy romanticized the Persians, so started wearing them as fashion. Yes, the European aristocracy from the Middle Ages through the Renaissance on did weird fucking shit, quite honestly. They were a bunch of weirdos. And when women caught on, started wearing them. Men went all manly men and stopped. God, women wearing them, I can't. Ah, there you go. See, Locust Trooper, you're not insecure, dude. You ever Sudanese girlfriend who's taller than you? She's like 6'1". See, you're not insecure, which is an excellent way to be. And yes, Justin, people can be very fussy with dating. People can be downright weird. I mean, you should be fussy to the point you shouldn't put up with someone who's shitty. And there's a lot of shitty people out there. But yeah, people can get weird. Bernie, I'm more innocent than you imagined. Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if I wasn't getting the reference. Did you literally mean Special K, the cereal? Were you referring to Ketamine? Because I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I didn't know what was happening. Look at my ice. Oh, yeah. Okay. My ice is out of its little safety container. But I'm still drinking lemonade and fruit juice. Speaking of being innocent, innocently drinking my lemonade and fruit juice. I'm an innocent boy. Oh, Justin, looks matter a lot to some people. Look, and I think most people looks matter to some degree, but there's also everyone has different opinions on looks. I mean, there are some people that virtually anyone thinks they're beautiful in a purely aesthetic sense. But yeah. Bernie, there's a bar in Melbourne, a station. Do I know it? Again, see, now I don't know if you're speaking in code again. It sounds to me like you're talking about one that I think it is called something station, just up from Flinders Street Station. But see, now I don't know if you're talking in code again. So, and I can be a bit slow on the uptake, quite honestly. Sometimes I need help. I need context. I need to understand. It's not code. But yeah, so if you're talking about a bar in Melbourne, there's one that I go to sometimes just because they have cheap drinks. And I think it's called The Station or something. It's just near Flinders Street Station on Elizabeth Street, I think. So I don't know if that's the one you're referring to. I mean, there are so many bars. There are dozens of bars in Melbourne CBD, ranging from ones that can literally only fit 6 people to fucking huge ones. And I've only been to a tiny handful of them. If Kirsten was here, she knows the Melbourne bar scene very well. So you think actually, I think that is the... Okay, I'm going to look that up. Platform 3 bar. It's Platform 66 bar on Spencer Street. Ah, there you go. Platform 3 Cafe and Bar. Cafe and Tapas Bar. In Carnegie. That's out in the suburbs. It's actually out my way. Did you mean that when you said Melbourne? Something out in the suburbs? Justin, some people look way too much at things like what profession you're in, whether you have money rather than really nice. Oh, yeah. No. People regularly make huge fucking mistakes when they judge someone based on surface level stuff. Like they like their looks, or they go, ooh, they've got a lot of money. I should date them. And then it turns out to be a real fucking bad idea. Mind you, someone's ugly as a hat full of assholes and flat broke. They're not a great deal, really, are they? So, but again, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and there's broke and broke. There's broke because circumstances are tough, and it's really shitty to judge someone about tough circumstances. But then again, there's people who are broke because they're pieces of shit, and you really don't want to get in. And again, there are rich people who are pieces of shit. I've never dated a rich person, so I don't know. Oh, Justin, your mother did that with your dad, didn't end well. Sadly, lots of marriages end that way. So, yeah. Like, how did my son get so tall? Fed him right? I don't know, because his mum's family is a bunch of short asses. And I'm average height for my family. I think one or two of my brothers are a bit taller. My older brothers are short asses. But yeah, my lads, he's like 5'11", 6 foot. I haven't, I don't know that he's measured himself recently. But yeah, he's a freaking beanpole. So Bernie, the one you're thinking of is just out of the Melbourne CBD. Stopped on the way down the stairs, girl coming up, big baby seal eyes. Oh no, yes. 3 minute static shot of her staring into camera. Best 3 minutes of your life. That does sound like a good visual, honestly. Yes. All right. That's finished. My ice is tempered. I'm going to get a glass for it. Get this little rocks glass. And get this sexy clear ice. That'll do. I was really worried. I was going to like drop it in and crack the glass. And get my sexy clarified cocktail and pour it across the sexy ice. There we go. It's pretty good. So again, I made a big one. That's like about 3 cocktails. Burning off another glink. Oh, Abigail, I am fetishizing ice. I am absolutely fetishizing ice. Look at that. Look at that. It's invisible. It's fucking invisible. It's fucking amazing. The drink's almost as clear as water, and the ice is fucking invisible. That's incredible. I love it. So Locust Trooper, is he pretty solid? Well, he's not skinny, but he's not like a bodybuilder either. Just when you're growing up in Asia, locals would comment on how tall you were. In reality, your average height in Australia. There was a really funny music video. I got way back in the noughties, I think. It was an Australian dance track. I forget what it was. Like the DJ behind it, he's like really tall. He's like 6'4" or something. And part of the video for the song, because he would do gigs in holiday places and like in Bali and whatnot. He's either in Bali or Thailand, and he's going through this street market, and the covered stalls in the market, he has to bend right down to see under the awning and see what's in there. And he's walking through this really crowded market, and people are just staring at him like they just don't give a, no concept of, is that rude? They're just going, what the fuck? People are just staring at him going, the fuck? Because they're averaging about 5'6", and this guy's 6'4". He's just fucking towering over them. Oh, yes, Bernie, with shooting cocktails. Ice is the secret ingredient. Provides dilution. It's part art, part science. This, I'm not messing about too much. Like I didn't. If you, most of the cocktails, you might stir them with ice, but because I was putting this over a big rock, I thought, and it's already been diluted by the clarification process. So I just, and this is like a novelty drink as much as anything. So. Minty, because it's got creme de menthe in it. Wow. And tequila-y. This actually has a lot of tequila in it. That's pretty good. So Bernie also directed a dance show on Channel V, Room 208. Funniest show no one ever saw. But it's interesting what you say about ice. Ice is obviously to chill the drink, and a lot of people assume that's all it is. Like with most cocktails, you either shake them with ice or stir them with ice. Most people assume you're just chilling the drink, but there's actually a degree of dilution going on, which is usually very important to the balance of the drink. Like some cocktail recipes you'll see, they actually say use wet ice. And what that means is ice that's not fresh from the freezer or ice that's already started to melt a bit. And they say if you can't use wet ice, you should actually add like 10 mils of water to the drink to get the right balance with the dilution. Lucas Triple, why are a lot of Asian people short? I believe that is, like we had to think forward, I believe that's dietary. Historically, in a lot of Asian nations, the diet has had much more grain and fruit than the European diet, which had more meat and dairy. I'm happy to have pointed out that that's not the case, but that's what I kind of always understood the case to be. It's, you know, centuries of divergence in dietary intake. Grain, fish, fruit keeps you healthy, but red meat, dairy makes you grow tall. So, yeah. Bernie asked all the mixologists on the cocktail show what they drink. They don't, but if they must, it's always tequila. It's an up or not a down. I should take the advice more often. There's a thing with Melbourne bartenders, and I don't know if it goes beyond Melbourne, but it's definitely a Melbourne thing. Shots of Fernet Branca. And Fernet Branca is a really strongly flavored, it's a kind of Amaro, so it's kind of bitter. It kind of has really strong menthol flavors in it. Kirsten, hello, Hellion, hello. In fact, if I look at what is Fernet Branca. Description. Yeah, it is an Amaro. Okay, it's an Italian type of Amaro, bitter aromatic spirit, made from a number of herbs and spices which vary according to brand, usually include myrrh, rhubarb, chamomile, cardamom, aloe, and especially saffron. Base of grape distilled spirit. There you go. Locust Trooper, ate a lot of cheese, drink a lot of milk when I was a kid. Yep, that'll help you grow. A lot of dairy. There's possibly, you know, knock-on health effects that aren't great, but apparently make you grow. Oh no, Kirsten had a fun little jaunt to the ER because you have vertigo. Oh no. Good. Do you have the thing I do where you have this fucked up inner ear that occasionally, for no reason, I got told like, yeah, because there's a liquid in your inner ear that gives you balance and lets you know when you're moving and stuff. It can crystallize, which throws your balance off. So you feel vertigo when you're not doing anything. First time that happened, that was weird as fuck. Because I didn't know what was happening. It's like literally like lying down on bed felt like being on a roller coaster. Felt like I was going, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's very weird. Very, very weird. Well, they call it, that's the BPPV. It's a funny acronym, BPPV. Benign positional vertigo. The second P is paroxysmal, but the short version is calling it benign positional vertigo, and it's fucked. They gave you the good drugs, Kirsten. Excellent. Yes, Justin, I would imagine astronauts would have trouble with orientation issues until they adjust in space because the liquid would go weird. You just remind me, still one of my favorite bits of video I've ever seen was an astronaut. So this guy's been on the International Space Station for an extended period. And he's come back to Earth and he's given some sort of talk to some school kids. And he was writing stuff. He's talking to kids. And when he finishes writing, he just, in the open air, puts the pen there and lets it go. And of course, it falls to the floor. There's probably carpet, he doesn't hear it. And he's talking to the kids. And then he went to get his pen back and he reached into the empty air, thinking the pen would still be there. Because if he was on the space station when you left it sitting in the air, it would still be there. And he hadn't quite gotten around to it. Locust Trooper, I didn't watch that Friendly Geordie's video, but I saw that he did do one that appears to be a suck-up to Kevin Rudd. I just don't get people who are unwilling to critique the Labor Party. I've made no secret of the fact that I support them. A million %. People should definitely vote for them and not the Liberal Party. But I'm not going to be quiet when they fucking suck. And Kevin Rudd fucking sucks. Some of the stuff he's saying about Murdoch and whatever now is good. But he ruined his own legacy by being a piece of fucking shit. So he had, and I've said this before, he had the potential to be a truly great prime minister, to be an historically great prime minister. And he fucked it up by being an obnoxious prick that no one could work with. And it's his fucking fault we got Tony Abbott. So it's his fucking fault that we've got the LNP now. And he ruined whatever legacy he had by being an absolute piece of shit. Bernie, Kevin Rudd did not get sunk from decency. Kevin Rudd got sunk by being an obnoxious, bullying, loud prick that nobody could work with, which is probably due to the fact he never slept because he's really fucking obsessive and he had a really bad temper. He destroyed himself. He ruined his own legacy. And look, the stuff he's doing now, trying to go after Murdoch and crowd, that's good. I'm 100% behind that. But he's a fucking shithead. He's an absolute fucking shithead. His behavior in Parliament. Here's the thing. I don't particularly agree with the action that removed him from being prime minister, but he brought it on himself. But his behavior after he was removed was unconscionable. It was just fucking terrible. It was reprehensible. And he's a piece of shit. I have a bad temper. That's performance. When I do the angry stuff, that's performance. Rudd in real life was always screaming at people and abusing people in the workplace. And that's not acceptable. So, and that's why there was a move against him as prime minister. But yeah, like, why does Friendly Geordies love Rudd so much? He's just, he's just a blokey bloke. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I have no idea why he finds it so hard to critique the Labor Party. Oh, yeah, Bernie did a stint at Parliament House. It's definitely all theatre. But this was behind closed doors. Rudd would just scream at people and abuse people and would just lose his shit at people all the time. And eventually everyone you know what, that's enough. I really don't want to put up with that anymore. So, he, like I said, he ruined his own legacy. It's his fault and no one else's. Which is sad because, like I said, he had the potential to be an historically great prime minister. He had the makings of a really significant prime minister, and he fucked it up. He got, like I said, he being angry all the time. Then he got paranoid, and then the paranoia made him spiteful, and then people just went, "Yep, I fucking had enough," and bye byes he went. And good evening, Safa. Nice to see you. I don't think if I have a second drink, maybe make a different drink. So I've already done all of this week's videos. I think what I'll do in the future. Safa, it would be good if we had Rudd's NBN, and that's Stephen Conroy's fault for being so confrontational with Telstra that Telstra derailed the rollout of the NBN. So then when Labor lost power, the NBN rollout hadn't got very far at all, and LNP were able to destroy it. If Conroy hadn't been so confrontational with Telstra, if he'd actually involved Telstra more in the process and got more of the rollout done, that it would have been so advanced the LNP couldn't have derailed it. But that's Stephen fucking Conroy's fault. Another fucking ego person, as far as I can tell. It's just no friendly Geordie's also interviewed Bill Shorten. It's just like I guess I just can't wrap my head around not critiquing the people you support. He seems absolutely unwilling to do that. But anyway, Fox, my thoughts on Anzac Day. Well, as I said in the title of it, no jingoism, and in the details I said, no indulging in false history. I mean, okay, if we literally talk about Anzac as in the Gallipoli campaign in World War I, it was a very poorly thought out campaign by Winston Churchill, and it was very poorly executed, and it ended up being an absolute failure and absolutely pointless. The sacrifice of the young men on both sides, the loss of life, was just horrific. And so false history, isn't that what Australia's based on? Yes, my friend. Yes, it is. But you get weird things like, don't disrespect the flag. That's what the Anzacs fought on it. No, actually, the Australian flag never flew at Gallipoli. They were British forces from Australia and New Zealand and other places, and they fought under British flags. There's, and even the story of Simpson and his donkey is complete fucking bullshit. It's just the false history around it is ridiculous. Hey, Annette, by the way. Stella, did you go for a phone call? Oh, we've just been having the general fun. Nothing too dramatic. Telstra should be history. Murdoch, you have big information, but your life shit thing. Yeah, you don't want the antagonism of someone on the scale of either Murdoch or Telstra. Safi, you saw poppies in Crimea when walking back to grandparents' town. Yeah, well, poppies became the remembrance flower after World War I believe Flanders in France, they grew naturally, and because they're that blood red color, it's very evocative. I could be wrong on that. I think that's where it came from, that the poppies actually grew on Flanders, which was just all of World War I was a shit show. World War I was just fucked. It was just fucked. It was pointless. It was needless. It just like millions of dead for no reason. Oh my God. All of World War I was just a shit show, but some of the fighting in the trenches was the worst of the worst. Like Gallipoli was bad, but the European campaign was so much worse. It was just the worst thing. Yeah, Safa. It was World War I was rich people's egos. It was the fucking crowned heads of Europe throwing millions of mostly young men to their deaths to satisfy their petty egos. Just what do I think about Joe Biden's decision to get out of Afghanistan? Really overdue. So overdue. Lucas, what do I think about Australia's GDP bouncing back 1.1%? I don't know. I haven't seen it. And GDP and economy is fairy stories. It is fairy stories about stuff that's not real, made up by people who have a vested interest in getting us to believe that it's real because it serves their purposes. Yes, Annette, that is an excellent name for World War One, the War of the Cousins, because the different aristocracies in Europe were all fucking related and inbred. It's terrible. It was just the absolute disregard for human life that let that shit happen. And when you look at the history, it was almost inevitable. It almost happened in the 1800s, and it kept, getting pushed back and staved off. But for a long time prior to the outbreak of World War One, the powers in Europe were all assuming a war was coming and were just arming up. And it got to the point they all had so many weapons, it was inevitable they were going to go to war with one another. That's a good point, Justin. Soldiers serving in Afghanistan that weren't even born when 9/11 happened. Annette, they're all Victoria's progeny. She did that on purpose. I have not done a lot of reading on that topic. Yeah. Safa, if you want to be rich, you have to inbreed. I don't know that you have to, but a lot of the power brokers in Europe spent centuries interbreeding and being inbred and being cousins with all the other people and marrying their cousins. And the worst were the Habsburgs, man. They got so fucking ugly because of inbreeding. Centuries of inbreeding. It's very bad. It was like there's an episode of The Crown where they revealed that some like cousins of the Queen suffered severe mental defects from inbreeding and ended up institutionalized, and they were officially dead because they didn't want the royal family to look bad. And it's just like, fuck you people. Fuck you people. Nice one, Fox. You'd tell the Habsburgs to go fuck themselves, but they beat you to it. Yeah, they did. Oh, the Habsburgs are fucking scary. I don't think. I have another drink. Drink. Where's the Norland section in here? Hermeo? Is that? Did I have my bookmark on that? No, that's the swizzle, isn't it? Because I made the swizzle the other night. 3 dots and a dash. Rum agricole. Demerara rum, honey syrup, lime juice. Like that when I get my rum agricole. Where's the Norland section in here? There it is. Okay, so New Orleans cocktails, some of my favorites. Absinthe, cocktail à la Louisiane, whiskey, vermouth, Benedictine, dashes of absinthe, a Creole, whiskey, vermouth, Benedictine, dashes of Amir Picon, a Roffignac, brandy for difference, brandy, whiskey, raspberry syrup, red wine. Oh, Jesus, no, not doing that. Vieux Carré, which I made on Friday, which I fucking love. That's such a good drink. Whiskey, brandy, vermouth, Benedictine, or a Bywater, rum, Amer Picon, green chartreuse, falernum, dashes of Peychaud's. It's a sealback. Bourbon, Cointreau, lots of bitters. 7 dashes of Angostura, 7 dashes of Peychaud's, and then topped with champagne. I'm not doing that. A Sazerac, rye. Oh yeah, that's the old-fashioned with absinthe. I like the split base one. Do rye, cognac, and yeah, right, and bourbon, I suppose, or a liberal. Rye, sweet vermouth, Amer Picon. Member of the Manhattan family, notable for its use of Amer Picon. It's a French bitter liqueur. Workarounds exist. See page 181. Okay. What's a workaround for Amer Picon? Curacao, creme de cacao, bitter. Picolet China Amer is preferred. This is Bitterman's Amer Nouvelle. Fernet Branca, Aperol. Amaro Montenegro. Oh, maybe I'll do a Black Manhattan, actually. I like that. Abigail, if I wasn't already taken, I'd probably marry one of my cocktails, yes. Oh, nice. Stella, taking a break from apocalypse cooking so you can eat to get enough energy to do more cooking. Excellent. Well, that's an interesting fact, Justin. Bush voted for Condoleezza Rice rather than voting for Trump or Biden. I hadn't heard that, but, also don't care. Oh, yes. Abigail, a Harlem, a Black Manhattan. I think I will. That was a good drink. Do 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 do. Where are we with an actual recipe? Why are you doing this to me, you stupid website? Okay, I'm gonna wait, what's a longshoreman? Whiskey Averna Puntamez. Fuck it, I'm gonna make that one. That's a slight variation on a Black Manhattan, essentially. Yeah, I'm going to do that. All right, I'm going to get my mixing glass, just sitting over here. Put some ice in it. All right. I don't have orange peel. These drinks are always better if you have orange peel. 2 ounces, half. Okay. Easy peasy. Bernie, Google you. Good for a laugh. You don't care what? No. Annette, you had too much to drink last night. Taking a break. Good idea. Have a drink tomorrow to celebrate the end of the night. Yeah, it's good to have a break. I had a little bit to drink last night. A little bit to drink on Friday night. Neither anywhere near as bad as the previous Friday night. I'll probably take tomorrow off. Just sit with Mrs. Angry watching TV. Oh, thanks, Bernie. I'm glad you like the glasses. They're relatively new. I've only had them a couple of weeks. A change in style. I saw them and went, wow, I like those. Wait, are they too much? So I had to take a picture and send it to Mrs. Angry and saying, are these too much? And she just replied, those are great. Get those. So I got them. Need a stirring spoon. Stirring spoon. So we want Puntamez is in the fridge. Amaro Montenegro. Puntamez, which is a more interesting vermouth. And I've got to decide which whiskey to use. In fact, I'm going to use the chocolate whiskey again. It seems to go well mixed. I don't really like it on its own. It's one of those ones that's an experiment. It's like, okay, it's not terrible. It's not great. Bernie, Mrs. Angry is absolutely a bit of okay. She's just fucking awesome bit of okay. She was talking to her brother earlier. I think I heard her turn on Star Trek in the next room. Safa's got a new 4K TV. 65 inches, need 2 people to set it up. That sounds a bit of a drama. Locust Trooper, Phil the Greek and the Queen were cousins. They were distant cousins. Yeah, but there was a bloodline there. Right, so now, half an ounce of Amaro Montenegro. Do 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 do. Bernie, they don't make 2K TVs anymore. I don't know. It's a few years since I bought a TV. I don't think my TV's a 4K TV. It might be. It's a Sony. Who knows? I never remember specifications. I used to be really obsessed about technology. Now I don't give a shit. Like, Abigail set up my computer for me, and I don't remember the specs. They were good specs, though. So what if the Mongols ruled Europe like they ruled Russia? The world would be very different. That's what that would be. Okay, no bitters. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this. A little bit of cocktail ASMR. A little bit of stirring. Man, I so prefer doing it with the finger than the spoon. That's what she said. Bernie, content is king. Oh, man. I don't know where my strainer is. I'm just going to fucking MacGyver it. End up with a little bit of ice in my drink. That's okay. Oh, this one's a really sexy color. So that's a really sexy color. Very rich brown. A swizzle stick is a good name for a band. Why not? Man, that has really, really earthy flavors. The herbs in the bitter amaro and the punta mez, and I think even those chocolate notes from the whiskey are coming through. So it's just got bitterness from the amaro. The whiskey has little bitter dark chocolate notes in it. Stella, we don't have enough smut in the chat. Jesus, we had a lot last night. And yes, and the kitchen does look dark behind me without the fairy lights on. I have to tie the fairy lights back during the day so people can get in and out that door. And I didn't bother to let them back down. So look at you. When did I start making cocktails as a hobby? Like 2-3 years ago? I mean, you can go back on like my Facebook. I was making mixed drinks like 5 years ago, but I didn't get really serious about exploring cocktails and what you can do with them until about 3 years ago. So I've been seriously into cocktails for about 3 years. I'll tell you what, this one's, I fucking love this. This one's not for everyone because there is definitely the bitter aftertaste. The Amaro puts a bitter aftertaste on it. So, yeah. Kirsten, the husband called. He was worried. Yeah, well, you had the vertigo and the hospital visit and everything. Of course he's worried. Just we're upping the smut factor now. Abigail says, sleepy, about to go to bed. Stella, you can join if you like. It's weird. This one tastes kind of more bitter than I remember the Black Manhattan tasting. The Black Manhattan had more of the Amaro Montenegro. Maybe it's the combination of the Amaro Montenegro and the Punta Mez. So I mean, I like it. You do end up the sort of like the last taste, like on the back of your tongue, it's light bitterness. It's like it's not really harsh bitterness like you get from Campari, which I can't fucking stand. Fucking Campari. But yeah, is this one of my hallmarks for a good cocktail is it's more than one flavor when you drink it, and this kind of start that's got a sweetness, and then there's like these sort of fruity elements, which is probably coming from the Punta Mez, which is a vermouth base, so a wine based drink. And then late you get this light bitterness. But you want to go for a frozen apple martini? I like to do real martinis, uh, like with a fuck ton of gin in them and just a little bit of vermouth. Again, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have liked that. But I don't know, like trained my palate, and now, and I wouldn't have liked this a couple of years ago. Like the flavors are too strong, but now I like these flavors. Look, do I like Friendly Geordies? It depends what you mean by like. Like I don't know him. Do I like his takes on things? Often the answer is no, because it's weird. Because with our politics, there's a massive crossover. There's this huge crossover where we basically think the same about a lot of things, but there's other things where we diverge, notably on like social issues, issues of race and gender, which he gives a vibe that he doesn't give a shit about and doesn't think are important, which I honestly think is a typical white guy attitude. So yeah, it's weird that so much of our politics crosses over. But the area that tends to be called intersectional politics, which I think it's fair to say is something that he really aggressively rejects and I think is really important. So that's where we diverge. So we're all ducking in autocorrect now. Thanks to autocorrect, we're talking about how much we want to duck. Fair enough. There's an almost syrupy quality because I think even though the Amaro Montenegro's bitter, I think it's got sugar in it. The Ancient Wisdom has chocolate in it. Don't know. Punta Mez is very so, but this is not very. This is 23% alcohol, and Punta Mez is 16% alcohol. Is that the Montenegroni? 2 parts Amaro Montenegro, 1 part sweet vermouth, 1 part dry gin. That'd be okay. Because the standard Negroni is Campari, which is gross. Fox, can you join in, or will you just be content with watching? Well, it's as far as consolations go, that's not a bad consolation. What is that? Oh, that's what that is. Okay, I just full screened myself, which I don't need because I can't see the chat if I do that. Locust Trooper, I don't know his views on the welfare system. I actually thought he was pro-welfare, but that's not. As I don't watch a whole bunch of his stuff, so I'm not really in a position to say one way or the other. It's just some things I've seen him, and when I see his takes, it's like, no, that is very different to how I see that. That's the world, I guess. We differ. Bernie, the mixologist PM. I've often thought, almost as a retirement plan, should run for Senate. Like, how people end up getting a Senate seat with like no primary votes? I want to do that. How fucking cushy would that be? How much do senators get paid? Senator pay Australia. Senators and members receive an annual allowance by way of basic salary. Wow, $211,000. Jesus. Okay, so it's like base salary of 174,000 and allowances which take it up to Jesus, that's $40,000 worth of allowances. Jesus. Wow. See, I'm gonna run for Senate and get in on no fucking votes. Ha! I love that, Stella. Fox has got to operate the cameras for posterity. Yeah, so I'm going to run for the Senate on, the cocktail party. Yep. The more I have this one, the more I. Well, I could be controversial. I could actually run on a platform of dialing back the spirit super tax in Australia because that's gotten real fucking weird. Yeah, no, oh man, I'm going to run for Senate as the cocktail party, and then just sit in Senate with like opaque drink containers like this with a straw in it, and just to make people suspicious, I'll put an umbrella in it. It'll just be water. I'll just be sitting. I'll be sitting here in an opaque container with a straw going during Senate, and just to make people suspicious, I'll have a paper umbrella in it. The cocktail party. Oh my god! I just realised how good a name that is for a political party. The cocktail party. My one policy is dialing back the spirit super tax, and also all of my fucking social justice platforms. Yeah, Bernie, the cocktail party, an umbrella logo. Yes. And Mikulich, I don't know if I could keep doing my cocktail channel. Maybe it'd be cocktails and politics. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Stella. Vote on the platform of lowering the spirit super tax. Good question, Kirsten. Senator pension, Australia. Okay. Contributions pay. Parliamentarians receive an annual allowance 185. How much is a senator's retirement? 40 to 50,000. Jesus Christ, that's America, though. That's why they hang on until death. Members of Congress who've been in office for at least 32 years can earn about $140,000 a year. Right. Now, here we go. Crikey. Resettlement allowance for reskilling and re-employment assistance. Senators who sit in Parliament for more than 3 years and MPs who serve more than one full term are eligible to receive 6 months' salary, $100,000. Below that, MPs and senators lost their seat are entitled to 3 months' pay, $50,000. Parliamentary pensions. Scrapped in 2004 because of dreadful optics. Let me see. Most inaccuracies news stories ignore lower base. Fact that increases each year's. Okay, Tony Abbott's going to get $300,000 a year for life. Jesus. So, okay, that's all kind of inaccurate. Truth about parliamentary pensions. I'm serious. I'm going to run for Senate. Fuck it. Okay. No, it's okay. The answer is okay. If you do 8 years in Parliament, you get 50% of your base salary. Shit. So that's if you could stay in Parliament for 8 years, you retire on 50% of your, and that's $100,000 fucking dollars. Come on, surely, as senator for the cocktail party, I could stay in the Senate for 8 years. Oh, Mega Leach, you sent me the cocktail party logo from Atlanta. Nice. Justin, I don't think that's true that there's no pension for politicians. I know there was a dramatic reduction in their pension, but everyone gets a pension. Bernie, you met the leader of the shooters party, Robert Borsak. He's a fruitcake, yeah. Wanting to take me on a shoot. I think he smells right. Oh God, yeah, no. If you have any doubts about what he thinks about you, Bernie, definitely don't go shooting with him. Good Lord. Yeah, no, that's fraught with danger, clearly. So sorry. Okay, I'm going to share the thing that Mega Leach sent me. It's a logo for the cocktail party in America. There you go. The cocktail umbrella. Join us under our tiny, the cocktail party, join us under our tiny umbrella. No, I'd actually side with Bernie, and I think my logo would be an umbrella, much simpler one, but not like a rain umbrella, one of those paper umbrellas you stick in tropical drinks. Seriously, just sit in Senate for a couple of years, get a couple $100,000 a year. Jesus. Get to hang out with Jackie Lambie. So, Jackie, you're fucking weird. What's your story? What's your story, girl? You're weird. I still think you could kind of talk sense to Jackie Lambie. Because she tries to be the no bullshit person, but occasionally gets suckered into some really stupid bullshit. I feel like I would probably actually enjoy a conversation with Jackie Lambie and just say to her, like, okay, let's not argue. Let's not argue. Let's just explore. Let's explore a topic with an open mind and see what comes from it. Oh, yeah, Raiders. Jackie Lambie's a fucking genius compared to Pauline Hanson. Jackie Lambie regularly takes shots at Pauline Hanson because, yeah, not to be too judgmental, but Pauline Hanson is actually fucking stupid and awful and self-serving and corrupt. But, yeah, no, Annette, I actually like Jackie Lambie's no bullshit thing. I think she stumbles occasionally, but rather than attacking her, I think I'd really like to talk to her and say, well, okay, let's talk about that. Let's just, we'll just go completely open mind, no judging. Let's just talk about this and how can we find more information about it. So, Bernie, there's a creative director in the industry who made his living on the umbrella device. Well, those insurance logos are his. Cocktail umbrella would cane it. Nice. I'm just going to, I bet I can put cocktail umbrella logo images. No, these are all photos of those paper, which is the thing I'm going for, one of those paper cocktail umbrellas. But I want it like a stylized one, whereas these are all just pictures. Oh, here we fucking go. Here we fucking go. Something like this. I'll share this with you. Where are we? Something like this would be the cocktail party's logo. That's too complicated. Like maybe lose the fruit and the straw and just have an obvious cocktail glass and an umbrella. Oh, see, okay. Fuck yeah. No, this one with the olive. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Icons. Or this one. That's a nice one. Or one with an olive. Yeah. See these. Oh, this one. I like that. One of these icons. That'd be something like that. See, that's probably a little bit too complicated. Too much going on there. But yeah, the logo would be something like that. Yes, Locust Trooper, Jackie Lambie was opposed to the stupid drug test on welfare recipients. Oh yes, absolutely. Raiders, Jackie Lambie's fight for veterans is good. And yeah, Abigail, I agree with you. Jackie Lambie has changed for the better. I think she's reasonably open-minded. And that's why I say I wouldn't want to argue with Jackie Lambie. If we disagreed on something, I'd say, well, let's just talk. Let's just talk. No judgment. No judgment. We're just going to explore the idea, explore where the information comes from. Bernie, you reckon the logo should be just the umbrella, symbolizes safety and security? That's actually a good call. Cocktail umbrella icon. If I just change it to icon on the search. Oh, see, look at this. Okay, now I'm going to share this. I'll show you. This is the sort of area that I'd be looking for the cocktail party. Where are we? Chrome tab. See these ones? These ones that you're very much just icons of umbrellas. That's getting there. Like this one. That one with the black. See, one like this, I think that's a bit too much going on, but maybe not. Yeah, you know, something like that. All these other ones. See, okay, that's too much. That's too much going on. But like an obvious cocktail glass with an umbrella, like leave out the straw and the fruit. Oh, wow. Oh, no, that's too abstract. I kind of like it, but it's too abstract. And that's a silhouette. Yeah, it's not quite there. I know a bunch of artists. I could get something. Yeah. Would you think it was funny? Locust Trooper, if I'm a mate of Jackie Lambie, why don't I vote for her? Because is she a state or federal senator? I don't, because she's from Tasmania. I don't know that I get to vote for her because she's from Tasmania. Oh, Bernie. Fuck. Okay. When I start the cocktail channel, Bernie, you're going to be my fucking publicity creative director. A rainy shot from cranes above a crowd with umbrellas, like cocktail umbrellas. Love it. Love it. Yes. Okay, she's federal. But don't you vote for federal senators by state? I don't know. I don't know if I'd actually have the opportunity to vote for Jackie Lambie. I'm trying to remember how it works. So, well, you heard it here. When it turns into a real thing, the cocktail party, and I become a senator, you were all in on the ground floor of me planning to be a senator for the cocktail party. So, yeah, Crow, you've wandered in with my master plan to be elected to the Senate. A, for the easy money. B, to actually have a platform to stir some fucking shit. Yeah, see, that's what I thought, Stella. It's federal Senate, but you vote for people for your state, so I wouldn't get to vote for Jackie Lambie. Abigail, I am the Senate. Yeah, I just want to be like the meme senator, but not shit tier memes like Clive Palmer. Actual good memes. I still like the idea of sitting in the Senate with an opaque drinking receptacle and a straw, and just having a cocktail umbrella out to make people sus. Yes, it's water. Fuck off, it's water. It's water, and it actually is water. So, seriously, it seems to be really easy to get elected to the Senate, so I think I'll do it. Oh man. I mean, I'm making jokes about being the cocktail party and standing on getting rid of the spirit super tax, but all my fucking social justice policies, I'd be front and center. Like, hey, Labor, if you don't want me to fucking block your supply bills, stop being dicks. Bernie, is a cocktail umbrella a prop? You're allowed to have a drink. You're allowed to have a drink with you. Just have a drink. I just have a cocktail umbrella in it. I'm just drinking water. What's wrong with you? What? Why are you looking at me funny? I'm just drinking water. Right, is the thing Senator Sarah Henderson's day is numbered? Maybe. That's great. You want to run as a stuck-up toff like Godfrey Bigot. Nice. Yeah, no, I'd be mad. Man, all my social justice shit. Respect everything from respect for people on welfare, disability, for refugees, for queer folk, for sex workers. I would just fucking go to town. My welfare policy is this fucking country should support every person who needs support, whatever the reason they need support, and let's fucking tax these fucking mining companies that are stealing billions of dollars in wealth that should belong to the people of this country. Yeah, Bernie, it's a good point. You're saying you're not allowed to have props on the floor, but yeah, Morrison did that stupid fucking thing with the lump of coal because he's a cunt. He's an absolute cunt. Raiders, it would be fun if we passed something that made Abbott stay in the UK. That would be good. Yeah, Abigail, making large corporations pay tax, for fuck's sake, yes. Am I seeing any of your messages? Do you mean things you're putting in the chat? Because I saw things there. Oh, Safa, absolutely the far left cocktail party. And yes, we will keep going. Yeah, Chris, people are people. Absolutely. Everyone deserves, even beyond a bare standard, people deserve nice things occasionally. So, yeah, all my radical left policies, I might be in slightly jokey, of the cocktail party. Abigail, YouTube is really weird with what I see and don't see. Oh, I see. One of the things you said, props aren't allowed when speaking, but you can have stuff in the Senate. Remember the Green senator was knitting. Yeah. So I just sit there with an opaque drink container and a straw and a cocktail umbrella sitting outside. What? It's water. What's wrong with you? Earthquake saw the WA Labor government stand up to the federal LMPs. Great, because he doesn't have an opposition. He doesn't have an opposition. The WA Premier can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can do anything. Oh, Justin, look, in my perfect world, all the mining companies would be nationalized. Those fucking evil pieces of shit are stealing the wealth of this country that does not belong to them. It's fucking horseshit. Not that I'd ever have the power to, but I'd fucking nationalize all the mines. Definitely. And yes, her ladyship of expletives, not just tax the rich, make companies clean up after themselves. The idea of the idea of companies being able to generate huge profits while they create ecological disasters that they don't clean up is ridiculous. And her ladyship, I don't think you could ever stop people from renting out properties, but in my personal opinion, is no tax incentives should exist for people to buy multiple properties. The fact that there are these ridiculous fucking tax rorts that encourage people to buy multiple properties, that's just horseshit. It's absolute horseshit. There shouldn't be any tax incentive to buy multiple properties. You want to buy multiple properties and rent them out, fucking knock yourself out. But there should be zero tax incentive for it. Yeah, Earthgrow, some cap on owning a number of properties could be viable, and certainly serious taxes on unoccupied homes. The idea of there being more unoccupied homes than there are homeless people is fucking criminal, basically. And I'm also with you saying a federal ALP would have walked in the last election if they'd showed any spine. I fucking hate them. Elizabeth on Facebook, DM me for your reading and donation. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Elizabeth. Is this for my Senate campaign, which is right on the cusp of being a real thing, quite honestly? Abigail, you want to go the whole way of abolishing private property ownership. Well, that's the sort of thing that will get you shot in the back of the head when you're walking alone somewhere. Fox, you want the religious organizations to pay taxes? I'm okay with that. Oh, ladyship of experts. Yeah, a world dictator. I become dictator of the world. Fuck yeah. And in terms of pay rates, it's not such a big issue in Australia. It's an horrific issue in the US, and it is somewhat of an issue in Australia, but no job should pay less than a living wage. Like, if you are doing a job, it should pay you enough by itself to live where you need to live to do the job. The idea that people have to work multiple shitty jobs just to exist is terrible. And the gig economy, the casualization of the workforce, fuck that. Fuck that. It's actually bad for capitalism. Yeah, I know, Raiders. That's what I'm saying. Same thing about no private ownership. I don't think that's realistic. But the weird thing is the casualization of the workforce is actually bad for capitalism. It's not just bad for individuals who get fucked over by it. It's bad for capitalism. It's unsustainable. Your system needs to be sustainable. Leadership, you get mad about me saying you should have to get tested before you're allowed to have kids. Make sure you're smart mouth, not a druggie and an abusive asshole. Trouble is, any sort of test like that is going to be subjective. It's going to be unfair, and it smacks of eugenics. I get the impulse to say absolute pieces of garbage shouldn't have kids, but once you start saying, you should have to meet X standard before you can have kids, that would inevitably be perverted, would be biased, it would be classist, it would almost definitely be racist. And like I said, you're basically getting into eugenics at that point. Like I said, I understand the impulse, but in the real world, that sort of thing's a bad idea. Abigail, I'm implying capitalism is sustainable. I would imply that a version of a capital-based economy could be made sustainable. For a start, you'd have to recognize there is no endless growth, and a company shouldn't be able to make profit while they're creating a mess they're not cleaning up. And that goes for physical messes. And also, for instance, Facebook and other social media should be plowing 10 times more money into stopping the social pollution that's on their websites. So, yeah. And yeah, Earthcrow, who would decide what a decent parenting style is? Yeah, you can't, while I understand the impulse to say there should be some control over who's a parent, in practice, it's not workable without being a fucking fascist, essentially. Abigail, I could get behind a donut-based economy. It's great. A donut-based economy would be great. But yeah, it's a complicated world we live in. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna fucking run for Senate. Leadership with kids that get abandoned, abused, end up a system where it's more than the same. Feel like testing would help. Again, I understand the impulse, but in practical terms, you can't do that without being a fucking fascist. And because the ideas behind being a decent parent are completely subjective, and we see in real world examples that type of policy would end up being implemented unfairly, unevenly, would definitely be classist, would definitely be racist. Yes, Earthcrow, get on the WA upper house, live there for a year, then bugger off. Yes. Like Stripper, what would I do about landlords ripping off renters? Oh, I'd come down fucking hard. As the whole idea, whenever someone says, we need more protection for tenants, and you get this ridiculous drivel in the media of landlords saying they'll sell, well, dude, good. Housing prices should go way fucking down. People should not be incentivized to own multiple properties. It's fucking despicable that happens. Housing is a basic human right, and turning it into a speculative fucking investment is fucking sick. And yeah, Safa, China's one-child policy had all sorts of really detrimental side effects. But yeah, you can't enforce parenting rules without being a fucking fascist, basically. And there are too many people in the world to have any sort of rules in place, because even if your rules were perfect, and there's no such thing, but even if your rules were perfect, there are too many people in the world to enforce them. So yeah. So Chris, here are 4 bedrooms only $900 more than a 1-bedroom. Bubbles so close to popping with mass COVID evictions in North America. Fuck yeah. So leadership, in your view, being a decent parent's actually taking care of your kids, not abusing them, no mental, emotional, physical, sexual abuse, supporting them, let them see. Yeah, again, those aren't objective words. Those are subjective words. You get people who completely disagree on what mental abuse and mental support is. You get people who completely disagree on what emotional abuse and emotional support is. You get people who completely disagree what physical abuse and physical support is. Sexual abuse, there's somewhat less disagreement on, but the thing is, all those terms are very subjective. And you just look at humans, you look at history, you look at the real world, any sort of government oversight on parenting standards is going to be impossible to enforce. And where it is enforced, it would be enforced unevenly. The enforcement would definitely be classist. The enforcement would definitely be racist. Mofo Sign, hello, by the way. Yes, India has an absolutely fucked COVID crisis. They're all running out of oxygen and people are just fucking dying. And they're having these mass funeral pyres. Yeah, shit's going down in India in a very big way. And yeah, Earthcrow, good point. A lot of people don't understand not all violence is physical. Yes, again, Abigail's not, again, in Texas, they've got a law saying it's an abuse for parents to have a child on puberty blockers if they're trans. The concept of abuse is subjective. All across the US, they're introducing absolutely vile anti-trans laws. You cannot trust the government to enforce any standards on parenting. You just cannot. All right. Yeah. Well, Mofo Sign, yes, the actual fascist ruling party in India, the party that actually started as a direct supporter of the Nazis in World War II. And they'd been on the fringe ever since World War II until like the last 5 years, and suddenly they seized power. But yeah. Yes, Mofo Sign, I agree. Far-right parties is why we can't have nice things. And shit is going so bad in India. Yeah, like 350,000 new cases a day. And once their health system collapses, which is this close to now, that's when you start getting thousands of deaths a day, which, you know, it's just going to be fucking horrific. Earthcray had a chat with police detective on child abuse, and it was enlightening. Most are acts of revenge and different views on child rearing. That's interesting. Also, don't trust cops in terms of investigating abuse and whether it's sexual abuse of adults or of children. Don't trust cops on that either. Again, because their attitudes are totally subjective. Yes, Chris, the chances of a super strain coming out of India are horrifically high. Like a vaccine-resistant strain coming out this year is actually an incredibly high risk. Just when we're on the cusp of things are looking okay, you can see things getting out of control again. Jesus. Leadership, the Florida people are driving you nuts. Literally only seen one person other than your family wearing masks, social distancing. Yeah, Florida seems to have some fucking problems on that front. It's one of the big centers of COVID denial in the US, looking from the outside. Science. When did science become a political football, hey? Probably with smoking, actually. And it's continued ever since. But far more seriously, with climate change and now with COVID, just the science denial is just fucked. And yes, Abigail, Florida is full of Florida men doing Florida men stuff. Florida man does weird shit because he's on meth. There's a reason all those stories pop up, but yeah. Locust Trooper, when will COVID end? It will never end. It will always be there. The question is, when will we be successfully managing it? Which is not just regular vaccines and regular vaccine updates, but improved treatments. So when globally, like the rich countries, COVID will probably be under control next year, probably, unless something horrible happens, maybe late this year. But But late this year, next year, the rich countries, the white countries, will probably have it under control. But there will be huge sections around the world that will not have it under control for years to come, if ever. And that actually places everyone at risk, because just massive spread of the virus increases the risk of mutations, increases the risk of vaccine-resistant mutations, which increases the risk of countries that thought they were safe getting reinfected. Yes, leadership, flat earthers and anti-vaxxers, yes. And people are fucked. Wow, what an up note we're finishing on. People are fucked. Anyway, watch this space. Angry running for the cocktail party. I just imagine someone trying to whip up controversy about me in the media. Like, you can't elect him. He has this video where he calls everyone who likes the Liberal Party cunts. And I went, okay, you don't understand the internet or context, because what's important to understand, when I said that, it means something else on the internet, and also the context. You're taking it out of context. The context is, I think everyone who is in the Liberal Party are a bunch of cunts. So you're leaving out context, and context is important. Just doing the whole not giving a fuck thing, that would be funny. Locust Trooper, when will travel be normal? Not for years. And again, we'll get increased bubbles where there'll be more travel over the next year or two, but world travel won't be normal inside of 5 years. Anywho, going to bed. That was a nice spirited last couple minutes of discussion. Hope you're all fine, you fabulous people. I'm going to go to bed. I won't be live tomorrow night. Be probably watching 6 Feet Under with Mrs. Angry, but probably will be live on Tuesday night. So we shall see what happens during the week. So take care, one and all. I will see you another time. But